Bellator Heavyweight Timothy Johnson is my next guest, and he's coming off a big win back in October of 2020 over Cheick Kongo. Timothy, how are you?
Did great. How about yourself?
I'm good. I really appreciate the time. I was cage side when you beat Mitrione. Then you go on and you get this big win over Congo. So a lot to get to. But first, tell me, what has life been like for you since your last fight? Because it seems like it's been a while now.
It has been a while, and I see that was December, that was 10. So I mean, man, it's been four, creeping up on 5 months since the last fight, and yeah, it seems like a year ago already, honestly. But yeah, I've been staying busy. In November, I rejoined the Minnesota National Guard to get my other to finish out my career there, and yeah, just been busy. Got a newborn baby, and yeah, she's been keeping me on my toes. So definitely haven't been laying around being lazy.
So is this your first child, or do you have any others?
This is my first child.
Okay, what's that like, dad life? I'm getting married later this year, and my fiance wants kids right out of the gate. So tell me, what am I in for?
Enjoy your sleep while you can. I will tell you that, and hopefully you get one that likes to sleep.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. How was the pandemic for you? You know, what I mean, I know it affected everyone a little bit differently. I mean, did it affect your ability to train and do your normal day-to-day life?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, after my February fight against Tyrell, that was the last fight before the pandemic really, took off. And, I knew I wouldn't be fighting for a while. So I went back to Minnesota and I worked, I went in the ground in an agricultural field. I got a job waiting there for me whenever I want. And so I was able to get back to Minnesota and work the spring all the way into summer. And then, it was June, whatever. Yeah, it was like June 28th when my agent called me and said, "Hey, you should probably get back to the gym and train." So flew back. I think over the 4th of July weekend, I was back in Vegas here, and yeah, took that fight on like a little 5 week, 5 week quick camp. So I was happy it ended the way it did because I didn't think I'd have a gas tank for round 2 or 3. And yeah, other than that, it's just kind of been business as usual. It hasn't affected me too much overall. Count my blessings in that department.
Yeah, well, that's definitely good to hear. Let me ask you. I heard in a media scrum interview the agricultural field that the work that you do 100-hour work weeks. What is that like? I mean, that just seems insane.
It's insane. Yeah, I think my high work week was last fall. I think I got 108 hours in. So, it's sun up, well past sundown, and you work 7 days a week until you get everything accomplished.
Yeah, well, that really is seems like quite the job, and that is what's waiting for you whenever you do hang it up. Hopefully, you still have a lot of fights left before you decide to go that route. Let's talk about this win over Congo. You got some revenge here. He beat you back in 2018. Really impressive performance, and you beat him in his backyard. He was born in Paris, France. You got the decision. What was the game plan going into this big fight?
Just not rush anything. My first fight in Bellator, and like it kind of maybe unbeknownst to me, I maybe had a little bit of a confidence issue. That was before I switched gyms too. I was still working out in Fargo, and which were great when I had bodies, but that fight camp, I think my heaviest guy I was training with was like 185 pounds, and they lost some bodies for me. But it just I knew that fight was weird, and that wasn't. Then the Minikop disaster happened, on a 12-hour notice. And I wasn't very happy with what I was producing, and I just had a different mentality going that fight, and especially getting in rounds with Francis. Like Congo's not going to hit me harder than Francis does. Like it's just not going to happen. And so that getting rounds in with him really helps clarify. Really break it down to a fight. I'm like I'm already fighting I'm taking the best fights. The best punches I'm going to take is in the practice room. It's not going to happen in a fight, so I can just go out here and relax.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, training with Ngannou, that's a scary thought right there. But one of the best in the business, and they always say iron sharpens iron. You talk about confidence, how you had a little bit of a lack of confidence. What is it like now? Are you feeling as good as you ever have in your career?
Yeah, I really am. I think I definitely rounded a corner. And you can look at it, the attrition rate it takes. I came out here 2.5 years ago, and now it took up until February, a year at a major gym at Extreme here with a lot of good bodies, a lot of iron, and starting to figure things out. Because I've only been training, actually training MMA for 5-6 years. I haven't, even my first UFC fight, I still didn't know how to punch because I just wrestled all the way through, wrestled all my regional levels. I just wrestled, and I still wasn't developed in the striking game at all. I think it's finally coming together now, and then finally figured out how to diet and keep my body in shape. Right now I'm walking around at 262 pounds, as opposed to if I would have had a 5-month layoff a couple of years ago, I'd probably be up to 285.
So yeah, that's good. You're really keeping your weight in check. Are you or were you pleased with your performance in your rematch with Kongo? I got to imagine you probably wanted to get a finish since he finished you the first time. So looking back at it now, how do you break that down?
I was pretty happy with it. There's a couple of instances where, I could think of, if I'm being honest with myself during the fight, that I'm like, I could throw in a little more effort here, but I was kind of definitely playing it a little more safe. But yeah, I know in that first round, I kind of hurt my wrist pretty bad, so I couldn't really go for any takedowns. Every time I'd lock up my hands or something, it just excruciating pain. So I just kind of did a little bit of the lay and pray on the fence there, as people like to say. But I wanted to make sure I stayed somewhat active. I was doing a lot of knees, throwing some elbows, and it's just something I can build on that from there.
Yeah. Were you pretty nervous before the judges rendered their decision? Because, obviously he was born there. I mean, did you feel like, geez, man, they're going to give him the nod, or did you feel pretty confident?
I could have went both ways. I was a little nervous that it went to Kongo. I've had a situation like that happened where I was almost 100% sure I won the fight, and the judges saw it otherwise. That was my fight against Volkov, in Ireland, where I was like, I won that fight, but judges didn't see it that way. So I was kind of had a little bit of PTSD from that, yes. But I was pretty, the reason I look back how judges gave him round 2 was because of, we separated, and I kind of let him get into a little bit of groove, and that's where I was saying I was kind of relaxing a little bit. And I think he won that round off the last 30-second flurry off the lat.
Mm-hmm. Does a trilogy make sense? I mean, I don't know if that's what you want next, but would you like to just decide, once and for all, who's the better of the two?
Maybe after a title fight.
Okay, well, yeah, obviously the title fight would be what you'd clearly want. As far as your current Bellator contract right now, you're 35 years old. You turn 36 next month, so happy early birthday. How many fights do you have left on your current deal?
That's a good question. I don't even know. I think I have 2 fights on this current one, 2 or 3 or 2 or 1. I'm not sure. I think it's 2. So yeah, I think, but hopefully go back, renegotiate here pretty quick. And yeah, if I win the belt, I'd love to get a massive, 8-9 fight contract, fight 3 times a year, and walk away in the sunset happy with what I've accomplished.
Do you envision yourself fighting into your 40s, or do you think you want to quit before then?
I'm going to listen to my body. As long as my body's producing, my brain's staying fine, I'm staying sharp, I'm going to keep going out there. But I'm not going to be a guy that just waltzes out there for a paycheck. I got things that I want to do beyond fighting. And, some of those things I do need my body in somewhat decent shape yet.
For sure. What's your thoughts on the current heavyweight division in Bellator right now? And I'm not sure what's going on with Bader. Obviously, he's competing in this light heavyweight tournament. I mean, I imagine that would really hold up the rest of you guys from getting a shot, unless they stripped him. If they did, I didn't hear about that.
No, he is still holding it, as far as I know. Word I got through third party, which is my agent. I haven't talked to anyone directly. I haven't talked to Scott. I haven't talked to Mike or Rich. But basically, they're kind of waiting to see what happens with Bader on April 9th. And Bader loses, and we're going to turn around and probably do a quick turnaround heavyweight title fight, which works great for me because I got a vacation at the end of June that I planned a year ago, and I want to make sure I go on a family vacation. And yeah, if he wins, then I guess there was some talks. Scott did an interview where he said maybe there'll be an interim title. Either way, I guess I just want to get a fight. June. That'll work for me.
Did they promise you the next shot? Like when they say if you're going to get an interim shot, depending on what happens with Bader, are you the guy, or one half of that fight that will happen?
Yeah, as far as I know, I am. I haven't been told otherwise. You know, Bader's came out multiple times saying me. You know, I think Scott's even got my name in his mouth in one of his interviews. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that they threw me in the number one contender spot, and I'm happy with that. And I think I earned it. I don't know. Maybe other people think otherwise, but you know, beat two of the guys that were, you know, Kongo was the number one contender, beat him, and Mitrione was in the semis, so technically he was top four. And yeah, so I think beat the two there. I don't know who else I can beat to be a number one contender.
For sure. Yeah, you seem to be up next, no doubt about it. What do you think of the current light heavyweight tournament? Like, how do you feel like Bader is going to do in that?
I'm happy he's doing it, not me. That's a murderer's row of people right there, man. That's a lot of freak athletes, a lot of hard hitters, a lot of guys that can throw you in deep water. Yeah, I'm happy I'm a heavyweight.
Who do you expect to win that? Do you think that there's a favorite, or can you see a couple guys winning it?
I don't know, man. You got to give, you know, Nemkov's holding the belt. So until proven otherwise, I gotta say that he's the favorite. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what Anthony Johnson does. You know, he's taking a 3-year hiatus, which, you know, for some guys that can be refreshing, good. Let your body heal up and come in and be the same monster, or even better than what you were before.
And obviously, with him fighting Yoel Romero in the first round, that's a really interesting matchup. A couple of former UFC guys fought at a high level, you know, much like yourself. Are you surprised that they matched those two up in the first round? Because I thought that maybe they would strategically place them so they could potentially meet, you know, later on in the tournament.
You know, yes and no. It happened, you know, back in the Strikeforce days, you know, when they ran those tournaments that, you know, who was it, Fedor and whoever, they put them on the opposite sides of the bracket, hoping that they'd meet in the finals. Well, you know, there was outside victories. So I think they just said, you know what, screw it. Let's not take any chances. Let's give you know, I think that's the fight that the fans wanted to see the most was Yoel and Rumble. So there's like, let's let them have it in the first round.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one for sure. When you look at the UFC heavyweight division right now, and you know everything that you've been through, you're on a winning streak now. How do you feel like you could compete right now with those guys in the top 10, top 15 of the UFC?
I'd still be in the top 10. You know, when I was released by the UFC, I was number 12. And yeah, so and like I said, Volkov, I still think I won that fight. You know, he's sitting at number 5 right now. And I got a win over Marcin Tarbera. He's number 10 right now. And, you know, Shamil, like he just came up with a couple lost too, but he was hovering around that number 10, got a win over him. I mean, just because people didn't like my fighting style or me per se, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm tooting my own horn too much to say that I'd be right in that top 10 area.
Yeah. Give me a little prediction for Ngannou and Stipe. That's coming right around the corner.
No prediction, but I'll say it's not gonna be like it was the first time.
Yeah, I can't wait for that fight, man. That's one of the fights really that I'm looking forward to more than any in this, you know, calendar year. What do you think of what Bellator is doing with Showtime? Because I really like that. It's bringing it back to like the Strikeforce days, leaving CBS Sports. How do you feel about that move? Do you think it's going to really continue to elevate the promotion?
I think so too. On a couple of levels here. You know, since I've been with Bellator, they bounce around on like three different networks, and they finally found a home in Showtime. Like that's gonna be a long time partnership. That's not gonna be next year. Oh, now they're gonna find us on Bellator. You don't have to. Everyone knows what Showtime is. You don't have to be like, hey, we're on CBS Sports, and then people are like, oh, do I get CBS Sports? How do I find CBS Sports? So that you know if you have Showtime or not. You know how to get Showtime, and just the viewership is just gonna bring it through the roof as well.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I really like this move by the Bellator team here. Now, obviously, June time frame. That's the next time we expect to see you compete inside the Bellator cage. If it's not Bader, do you have a preference of who it is? Obviously, you just want that belt around your waist, but would you like to get that rematch with Minikoff? I mean, is there anyone else that really stands out?
Well, I'm not sure what's going on with Minikoff. I haven't heard too much his name spouted around at all. But I would assume it'd probably be Moldavsky. They'd give Moldavsky a chance. And actually, since I signed with Bellator, me and Moldavsky were supposed to fight twice. First time I had to back out for a shoulder injury, and the second time he had to back out for an undisclosed injury. So I mean, it almost seems like fate. So third time's a charm. That it'd probably be us. Would be my guess.
Yeah, that'd be a great fight. How do you like what they're doing at Mohegan Sun? I've been down there a handful of times to cover the fights. I really, really love the venue, and it just seems they have it streamlined with all this COVID craziness. They're really doing a good job. What's your overall takeaway from competing there?
No, I like it down there too. It's or over there, I should say. They like you said, streamlined. It's their apex. You know, they got a good thing going with Mohegan, and I think Mohegan likes having us there. And you know, it is. It's kind of business as usual. Everything's set up there. Nothing's taken down. It's every other week or every week, whatever the fights are going, and they're having it. And yeah, you know, I'm kind of liking the no crowd thing too.
Yeah, that was actually going to be my next and last question here with the no crowd versus a loud crowd with everyone packed right to the top. I mean, you actually like the feeling of a legitimate sparring match, so to speak. Like
Yeah.
you'd be in the gym versus everyone there on top of you. You like that better?
Yeah, well, some guys need that crowd to get them amped up a little bit more, give them a little more performance. To me, it actually helps you focus a little bit. I think it's just you're there to do a job. Get in there and get out.
Hey, well, I really enjoy watching you compete, sir. Again, I was cage side when you beat Mitrione, so very impressive performance. We look forward to seeing you step back in the Bellator cage here very, very soon. Before I let you go, tell everyone where to find you on social media, and if you have any sponsors, the floor is yours.
Yeah, you can find me on social media, TBearTim on Instagram and Twitter. Sponsors, top of my head, you got Texas Oil Group, H&I Nutrition out of Fargo there. You can get all your supplements pretty dang cheap. They got an online store. My gyms, Academy of Combat Arts Fargo here at Extreme Couture, and Burbiz Events. It's a veteran-owned company. And yeah, that's about all I can think of on top of my head. Put me on the spot now. But yeah, thank you.